Okay, hello YouTube. We are back very, very quickly. We did not expect a verdict this quickly. It has only been less than 2 hours. So let's just give everyone a minute. Damn it, I posted the wrong link. Okay, defense team is coming in. That was super fast. Jury has been out for less than 2 hours. Hello, Mark. Hello, Nightwolf. Not your fault, Nightwolf. I posted the wrong link. I was rushing and I just forgot. Hi, Damien. I'm just setting up on the fly. We'll see. Hi, Sethel. Glad you could make it. I did check on Twitter. It is confirmed that the jury is back and they have a verdict. So my guess is it is not a hung jury because there's no way the judge would let them declare a hung jury after like an hour and a half. No way. So it's going to be straight up guilty or not guilty, and we'll see. All right, put your thoughts in the chat. What do you think it's going to be? Juries are hard to predict. Anyone who tells you they can accurately do it most of the time is a liar. Remind you of the charges: negligent homicide, negligent discharge of a weapon, and evidence tampering. I am probably getting about 95% of that exact wording correct, but that's it. And they were told that they can only convict of the negligent firing of a weapon, or to convict, I believe it was to convict on the negligent homicide. They must also convict on negligent discharge of a weapon. They cannot separate those two. Our learned colleague says guilty on all counts. We'll see. Hey, Mark, do lawyers call each other a learned colleague in the UK? It looks like we've got almost everyone in the room. I'm not seen Hannah yet. Oh, here comes our favorite fashion lawyer. I gotta say, looking fairly professional today. Yeah, I've watched a few of these exchanges. I spent 20 odd years in rooms with lawyers and at depositions and stuff when they start like getting a little snarky with each other. Yeah, creative language would be the words. Well, I do think it is most likely that she will be found guilty. There is a non like insignificant chance that the jury just let her walk. You know, the nobody's responsible, or the production's responsible, or production should never have hired her. You know, or they just didn't let the little girl do her job. Then nobody's responsible for anything, which is happening way too much in society. I think this will definitely lend to either of those arguments. But I guarantee you, wherever Alec Baldwin is, he's glued to a TV set right now. I'm sure his lawyers are going over every second of closing and probably going, "What? They're back already? That's not good." Because most likely that's not good. But clearly the jury like had its mind made up because they barely took time for lunch. Like we stopped at about 3:30 my time. So then it's just going on 6 o'clock now. So assuming they then took lunch, which they did, that's an hour. So that's an hour and a half. I agree with you. Yeah, the evidence tampering, honestly, the defense should have tried to get that thrown out. I think the state utterly failed to prove its case, mainly in that they failed to prove how whatever she disposed of, regardless of whether it was cocaine or not, that's not the point. Prove that her disposing of anything from her personal hotel room, which was not part of the crime scene and she had not been told was going to be searched or anything. How is disposing of anything from her room evidence of anything? I think they utterly failed to prove that. She definitely should not have been put in that position, though, from all the experts that I have heard, both in the trial and out, there are no standards within the industry for calling yourself an armorer. There is no set of qualifications or certifications or training or level of competency or level of experience with weapons that you have to work as a armorer. It's completely unregulated. That is going to change after this trial. I guarantee it. Yes, whether they've been public about it or not, I promise you Hollywood is watching very closely to what is happening here. Because whichever way the verdict goes is going to change the industry. Arguably, the verdict of this trial will change the industry more than the verdict of the Baldwin trial because there is less room there to say things should change because pretty much everyone universally has already said he's an idiot for not checking the gun or demanding it be checked in front of him, that is standard practice already. He just failed to follow it. So I don't see much change coming off of the Baldwin verdict, but this is the verdict that will have an impact. Like, a lot of people's careers are riding on this because if she is found guilty, courtroom's filling up. Oh, that's, yeah. Interesting who's there. Oh, yeah. I would so buy this judge a drink. I would buy her too. Because she has had to put up with so much crap and so much sniping and toddler behavior. Oh, keep thinking good thoughts on my job interview. I think it went well. It was a group interview, which I'm not super fond of, but at least there was only like 5 of us, so it wasn't that bad. I think it did well. They said we'll probably hear Friday or Saturday. They're in a completely different time zone, so it's off by like a lot. Okay, I think Hannah's about the only person not yet in the court, so we're getting close. Here we go. So the jury is ready to come in because they would have kept her out until the last possible minute. Because they don't want the court camera lingering on her face. Which is exactly what they're going to do, of course. I'm wondering if Hannah's father's in the courtroom. I don't think he has been the entire time, but dude is like 80 something, so there may be reasons he's unable to attend. And if one of Baldwin's lawyers ain't in the room, I'd be shocked. I'd be very shocked if at least one of his lawyers had not been attending every day. If I was on his team, I certainly would. And no, watching it on TV is not the same. There's things you can only tell by being in the room. You want to feel what it feels like. You want to watch the jury's faces. Because Baldwin's getting like a free preview of his entire trial because much of the evidence and witnesses are going to be exactly the same. So this trial was the greatest piece of information they could have possibly been given. And if she is guilty, I expect they may come looking for a plea. Though I think Baldwin will force it to trial because of ego.
Just a minute. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, through the foreperson, have you reached a verdict?
Yes.
All right, let me see.
Here we go. Can everyone hear okay?
She needs a
Oh.
Thank you. Okay, the judge is reading it. Quiet in the court, please. We're trying to eavesdrop.
All right, so let me repeat.
Something
I said,
wrong?
ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Oh, come on.
through the foreperson, have you reached a verdict?
Yes.
All right, and do you wish to read the verdicts?
Sure.
Okay, I would start with count one. Okay.
Yeah, let's start
Go through
there.
them. Will the defendant please stand?
We find the defendant Hannah Gutierrez guilty of involuntary manslaughter as charged in count one.
There it is.
We find the defendant Hannah Gutierrez not guilty of tampering with evidence as charged in count two.
As
Maybe
expected.
you may be seated. Let me get those forms, retrieve those
Okay, so there it is. She is guilty. I am not surprised.
forms from you. I'm going to do what's called polling the jury.
Okay, I have no control over the feed. It is not my internet. It's because the feed is being flooded by everybody, so it's really laggy right now. But we heard the verdict. She is guilty. No, not of the
What I
evidence
need to
tampering,
put
which
on the
I
record
fully
is that
agree
this
with.
is your individual verdict, okay? So I'm going to start with the gentleman in the back. Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Ma'am, is this your verdict? Sir, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Sir, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Sir, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your
Sir, is this your verdict?
I don't
Sir,
know
is
if
this
we'll
your
see
verdict?
sentence right away. They
Ma'am,
may
is this your
schedule
verdict?
sentencing
Ma'am, is
for
this your
later.
verdict?
Yes.
Ma'am, is this your verdict? Ma'am, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Ma'am, is this your verdict? Okay, thank you. All right, so you've completed your service. Thank you so much for
Who is the
being
woman
here
in the
with
yellow
with a
glasses?
long trial. People may want to talk to you. This has been pretty much a lot of publicity, and you don't
Yeah, I
have
expect to see a few of the
okay?
jurors on like
So you can just
CNN
simply
or
say,
whatever.
do not wish to talk and move on. And if anybody bothers you, we've really tried to protect your privacy. If anybody bothers you, simply call my division, and we'll figure out what to do. But you also may talk, okay? So it's entirely up to you, okay? All
Yes,
right,
we did have an
so,
anonymous
I
jury,
will-
but
I
they
will
are free to
look
tell
this
whoever they
court
want now that it's over.
down. Thank you.
All rise.
George, just a minute.
All right, so we'll see what goes on from here. And do not know if they will address sentencing right away or not.
You should probably stay. All right, you may be seated. All right, is there anything that the state's requesting based upon the verdict?
We would request that Ms. Gutierrez be taken into custody.
Mr. Bowles?
Your Honor, we would request under, pull up the rule, Your Honor.
Dude, be prepared.
Your Honor, Rule 5402, release pending sentencing.
Can you tell this guy is not a trial
The
attorney?
same conditions or other conditions as this court would deem
I think
necessary.
I could recite that from
Ms.
memory.
Gutierrez
He's
has
reading
found
from his
conditions. She has not violated those conditions. She has voluntarily appeared at all court proceedings. Your Honor, I would request this court to continue conditions or whatever conditions this court would have on release.
Okay, so if they're discussing this, then sentencing is not going to be today. Who is this woman?
Remand you is you are now.
Is this her
convicted.
grandmother or something?
And so, and this is a death. It's an criminal negligence, but it's still a death. And so, deputies, you're going to take her into custody and we will set a sentencing date. What is the best,
Okay, so she gets to wait in jail.
And we need an order of
That's
remand.
got to be like her grandmother, I swear.
Okay.
And good on the court officer for
Counsel?
blocking the camera, because
In terms of
shame on you
Yes.
for exploiting
at
this
the
poor
court's
woman.
convenience, will be available. There are 2 weeks in May that I'm unavailable. Those are the last 2 weeks of May.
All right. Mr. Bowles?
So you're talking about May? They're talking about like
Yeah,
2
as
months
soon
from
as-
now.
This court has time, we will be available.
All right, so, do you have any conflict like that? She said May. Do you have any conflict?
I don't know for sure, Your Honor, that I could. I do have other trials, but I think mid-May.
Well, I can do it sooner.
Okay,
I just wondered if you had any conflicts along the way.
doesn't look like mid-May, Your Honor, I do. I don't think I have any conflicts.
I'm sorry, not understanding. Do you have, okay, we're in March. Do you have,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
March. Do
it's
you
time
want
before
sentencing
May.
sooner, or do you want your client to spend weeks in jail?
okay. All right. Anything else before the court?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We're in recess.
All right, so she gets to wait in jail until sentencing, which I'm not sure exactly where they set it for there. The date will be announced. We'll see. But she is guilty. Let's see what Twitterverse is saying. Everybody gets to go home. So she is guilty of manslaughter, not guilty of evidence tampering, and I'm assuming not guilty on the weapons charge. They didn't seem to say. But sentencing will not be for several weeks. The max on the manslaughter is 18 months, probably with credit for time served, of course, because that's pretty standard. Not entirely surprised that the judge had her remanded. She has been convicted of manslaughter. It is a serious charge. As the judge said, somebody died, so appropriate respect. But that is the end of the trial of Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the death of Helena Hutchins and the shooting of Joel Souza on the set of Rust. Oh, Alec Baldwin is not having a good night. This was a long one. There was a lot of shenanigans. Is that her father? That might be her father. I feel bad for him. But there was a lot of shenanigans. I could easily see this. I'm sure that there will be an appeal because that's just universally standard. I'm certain they will appeal the verdict. Do I think she has grounds for incompetent counsel? Yes, I do. Especially given that what became her lead lawyer is not a criminal attorney by trade. He clearly has like little to no trial experience. He had to freaking read the rules of like requesting that she be released until sentencing off his flipping phone. Oh, if I were her, I would have wanted to strangle him with his own stupid tie at that moment. Because as soon as he pulled out the phone, I knew the judge was going to say no. Because it's like, no, you weren't prepared for this. What is wrong with you? How are you not prepared for this right now? You had one job. But he was massively ineffective. He left huge areas of testimony like unchallenged that he should have. Even when he had a point, he didn't know how to make it. Even when the evidence was in his favor, he failed to make that clear or to make as big a deal of some things as he should. There's two witnesses he absolutely imploded on, and that is David Halls and Seth Kenney. He did not do his job with either of those witnesses, and those two are probably what lost him the trial. because that's where he had the chance to really stick it to other people and put them in the hot seat, either instead of or right next to his client, and he utterly failed to do it. Some of the worst cross ever. He just, yeah, he was unprepared. He didn't know what he was doing. And I think he approached this from the point of view of a civil trial, which is much more logical. It's much more straightforward. It tends to be very cut and dry. Thing X happened. Person X is responsible. Person Y is entitled to person X's money. A criminal trial is not a civil trial. The rules are different. It works differently. It's a whole other animal. You're dealing with a jury. You're dealing with real people. You're dealing with emotion. All right, so that is it. I'll pull myself up a little bit because we are out. So, yeah, did you find her counsel effective? What did you think that they missed? Do you think she has any chance of an appeal of any kind? I mean, she will make one. How successful it will be, I know the success rate of appeals is very low. It's like under 5%, I think. So probably not great. I don't know what it is specifically for New Mexico, but in general, I think it's about 5%. Thoughts on what her sentence is going to be? As I said, the max is 18 months. That can't change. The judge is not allowed to go outside that. Yeah, they missed. Yes, that's exactly it. They missed their defense. I don't think you can file for a mistrial after the verdict has been read. I think you have to do that before. If I were her, I certainly would claim ineffectiveness of counsel. I also still want to know what happened with Mr. Bouillon, the guy with the beard that was there for like the first 2 days. He got doxxed on Friday with everybody else. That was his number, him and Hannah's and her father's, that were publicly released, and then that caused, of course, the internet to be the internet, and bad things happened. I do feel bad for everyone involved there, just on that score. I really do, because it is awful. Maybe he got blamed for that happening, that it was his responsibility to redact it, or he should have noticed that it was unredacted and said something before it was published. We do know that after he asked to be released and was denied, there was paperwork saying he's not allowed to talk to Hannah anymore, which is kind of sus. So he got to sit there for 2 weeks and do and say absolutely nothing. And maybe he was writing his memoirs on his phone. But that was the end of him. And I wonder if maybe he was the one with the trial experience. If he was the one with maybe the more did more criminal case. And so maybe that's why the defense was so unprepared, because they didn't think that Mr. Bowles was going to have to carry the ball. And then he wound up having to carry the ball, and he fumbled it. He dropped it several times. And he's very bad at recovering. I do think he had a better closing than the state. But I don't give either of them high marks for closing. They were both pretty bad. Damien, you think she'll get the max with time served? Yeah, I'm forced to agree. When the max is 18 months and you're talking about a death, yeah, I absolutely think you're probably bang on. I think she will. Which means that with good behavior, she'll probably, I think the rule is most people serve a third of their sentence with good behavior. Now, with her, they may push it so that she serves the full 18 months because the case has become such a spectacle and it's being so watched and so heavily criticized. They may insist that she serve the full amount. We'll see. But not a good day if you are Alec Baldwin, because writing is on the wall now. We'll see how Hollywood responds. I would expect statements from SAG, IATSE, Directors Guild. They're all going to have something to say about it. I doubt OSHA would make any kind of a statement. It's not their thing. I would expect Baldwin's lawyers to possibly put out a statement. Not really sure what they would say, but I can promise you their phones are ringing off the hook right now. I can promise you that every media outlet in the world is trying to contact them and get their reaction to the verdict. I think there's a non-zero chance Alec Baldwin does another interview saying how sorry he feels for Hannah and probably defending her, because by extension he would be defending himself. I think that could possibly happen in the next few days. I think his lawyers will absolutely try to duct tape his mouth, but I don't think they're going to be able if he decides to do that. And wouldn't we all like to watch? Of course we would, but I'm going to call it an evening. We've got the verdict back, and that is the end of the trial. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for following me over to the new channel. Expect the return of body cams and expect new react footage to TVs and TVs. It's been a long day, folks. New reacts to movies and TV shows. Also, I'm still looking for an editor. If anybody out there has those abilities and is willing to work very cheaply or make some kind of arrangement, reach out to me and let me know what you can do. Because with me doing the editing, let's just say my skills are limited. I have many skills like Xena. Video editing, not so much. Can't wait. Thank you, Damien. And of course, I have not updated my contact page yet, but I will, and look for my Patreon there. You can always find full-length reactions, the parts that I cannot show on YouTube, all there, a lot of it for free. So take a look. And oh, I forgot to put my tip link. Darn it. I got set up so fast I forget my head if it's not attached. But thank you all for watching. Have a good night. Love yourself and love on a fur baby. Come back soon. And take care of you. Bye.